Hey, Forrest here. Nothing like getting paid. And with ICCU's mobile app, I can deposit checks or accept Zelle payments so the money hits my account fast. I just wish there was an app for mowing the rest of these lawns.
Right now, Lithia Ford of Boise is buying used vehicles. How much you want for the SUV?
I don't know.
Well, Lithia Ford will give you more than that.
How much more?
More than you think.
I'm not thinking anything.
I'm thinking you might get even more than that. See how much more you can get at Lithia Ford of Boise.
When it comes to concrete, we've got you covered. RowPaint.com offers custom concrete coating services for your garage, business, warehouse, and more. And we do it in one day. We are your complete concrete coatings solution.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Now, here's BJ Rains with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Hey, what's going on? Happy Thursday to you. BJ Rains with you in the Cutwater Canned Cocktail Studios here in Meridian. We got Mike Prater in the RowPaint.com studios there in downtown Boise. Mike, it's Thursday. You're sporting the Johnny 307 sweatshirt. Hey, we can sell one or two for him today. How's it going, man?
It's going well. Anytime I can pop on the purple Johnny 307's hoodie, it's a good day. So let's get after it today, BJ.
Obviously, different feeling, man. Your post-game shows, your radio show. I mean, after that UTEP game, man, the sky was falling, and it's crazy. You go through last week, and then they changed the quarterback and changed the OC, and everybody thought it was going to be a little better. And then at halftime, Dirk Cutter's wishing he was drinking a Coors Light again. But they got it going in the second half, man. And I know on your shows, on my shows, the feelings much different this week.
BJ, the last 10 days, the last 2 weeks, maybe even the last 3 weeks are exactly why we got into the business of what we got into. So many emotions, so much drama, so much news. It's been an absolutely blast of a couple of weeks now. That doesn't mean it's all been roses for Boise State football. It hit rock bottom there for a while. And that's always, unfortunately, good for our business. Negativity does sell. And then Boise State rights the ship with a beautiful story in the last couple of days with Dirk Cutter coming back, Taylon Green. It's been a sports writer, sports columnist, sports, whatever the hell it is you do, sports writer's dream come true, BJ. It's been beautiful.
I'm still not sure to call this a podcast, a webcast, a video cast. We're still working on the exact titles of that. But no, it's pretty crazy to think about the whole week of UTEP and then the halftime. And we're all sitting there in the press box at halftime of the San Diego State game, just going like, we've never seen this before. Like, this is unbelievable. And that we keep dusting off the back pages of the record books for the wrong reasons. They first time in 10 years or whatever that they were held scoreless in the first half at home. Yeah. And they're, running Sam Vidlak out there and can't decide on a quarterback. And I had some sort of tweet like, this is the most dysfunctional, unrhythmatic, out of sync offense that I could remember in my 10 years here. And sure enough, they go score 35 right after that in the second half. It was quite the turnaround and certainly changes the outlook, not only for that game and this week, but the rest of the season now being 2-0 and in conference play and trying to push forward for a Mountain West title. I think that it certainly, gives Boise State kind of a new life on the season, if you, so to speak.
Well, yeah, I mean, not so to speak. I really truly think it did give them new life. It's like when this book is written one day by you and me, and we're going to be rich writing this book, it's like 30 minutes that saved the season. That'll be the chapter of the last 10 days, 30 minutes that saved the season. They went into that locker room. It was dreadful. The buzz inside the stadium was non-existent. The press box was like, oh my gosh, what are we watching? And then they come out and T. Jones gets that interception and off and running. So it literally was 30 minutes that saved the season. I've been accused a lot of hyperbole. It's like, this game is going to save this season. That game did save the season, in terms of maybe not the Mountain West standings. Who knows? If Boise State loses that game, could they catch fire and win a Mountain West title? Maybe. We never really know. But the emotional connection between the football team and the fans and the community and just being engaged and caring. That 30 minutes absolutely 100% saved the season, I believe, on the field, off the field, and now we're off and running. Fresno State's coming to town, 1-3 Fresno State with no quarterback. The expectations for this football team in the last 2 weeks have just gotten from pretty good to rock bottom to now really, really high. I don't think I've ever seen a football season like this, certainly a start to a season like this ever, BJ.
How high are the expectations? Now Perry says top 20 by the end of the year.
Let's not focus on the national stuff. I don't know about top 20. Sure, anything's possible in this crazy football season if Boise State goes on a roll, but I think they're the best team in the Mountain West. I don't think I feel like I'm going out on a limb by saying that. They have to go prove it, but this Boise State football team, to me, as we sit here right now, is the favorite to win the Mountain West Conference. Let's see what happens when they go to Air Force. That's a big game. I still think Air Force might win that game, and that's going to get in the way of Boise State doing what it has to do. But correct me if I'm wrong as I'm thinking about this on the fly. I know they have divisions, but is it first and second, or are they still doing divisions this year?
They're doing the divisions for one more year.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So a loss to the Air Force would be devastating. They need to win that football game. We'll tackle that one down the road when we deal with it. But Boise State's got himself in a hell of a position right now.
Yeah, and we kind of looked at this 3-game stretch before the season, that these 3 games were kind of make or break the season. San Diego State, Fresno State, Air Force, and you kind of thought, okay, you got San Diego State. It's going to get a little tougher for Fresno State and then a little tougher for Air Force. And despite the 2-2 start, I mean, it's kind of still shaping up that way. You take care of business these 3 games, you're left with Colorado State, Nevada, Wyoming, who's the one I'm forgetting? Utah State. I mean, it's, at least in conference, there's a lot of winnable games left if you can get through this 3-game stretch. And you're right. I mean, they lost on the blue to Air Force last year. They've lost twice in my time here going to the academy as well. So that'll certainly be something. And they do get the bye, thankfully, before that, I guess, which helps a little bit. But first steps first, it's Fresno State and on this Saturday. And Kay Foster says he considers it a new season. He says the first 4 games were a different season. Nathaniel says roller coaster season, bring it on. But as bad as it was, Mike, it all did kind of shape up where, the conference season hadn't been affected by that. It wasn't like the UTEP loss was to New Mexico or something. I mean, they're still undefeated in Mountain West play. And like you said, maybe you say Air Force, but other than that, San Jose and UNLV, are they really that scary? I mean, they're looking good, but are they really scaring you that much on the other side? I mean, it's crazy, and it shows how down the Mountain West is this year, but there's no reason Boise State shouldn't be hosting the championship game and holding up that trophy come early December.
Yeah, I almost wish that division thing didn't exist this year,
Which is dumb, by the way. The Pac-12 was able to take it out. The Mountain West claimed, "Oh, well, we already made the schedules." Well, so what? Like, you can still just have the top 2 teams meet. Like, you don't have to rechange the schedule. So I know they're doing it for next year, but I thought they claimed there wasn't enough time and all that in the summer when they voted it. But I think that's dumb. I think they should have just picked the top 2.
Yeah, I totally agree. And if in hindsight, if Boise State goes on and wins every single game for the rest of this year, including BYU, except for Air Force, and they get left out of the Mountain West title game, and San Jose State and UNLV, who are having nice seasons, let's not get too carried away, and good for UNLV for trying to be relevant for a change. If they stumble down the stretch but still win their division, that's too bad. That's water under the bridge. Yeah, this football season, I have a feeling, is going to be shaped up into 2 or 3 different chapters, and that first month was ridiculous. Now we're kind of into phase 2 of this football season. Let's see how this Boise State football team finishes. I know here in a minute we're going to kind of break down this offense and see if it's sustainable for the rest of the season. I truly do believe it is. So I can't imagine what it's like to be inside Andy Avalos's mind right now. I would love 10 free minutes with that guy's brain and just pick his brain, because the highs and the lows and the emotions, and he's so even keeled out in public, but I think behind the scenes, he's got to be an emotional dude. I mean, he's a fiery football player. He's a Latino. He checks all the boxes for this fiery, feisty dude, and he's just so calm on the outside, and that's okay. Although some fans criticize him because he doesn't get too feisty on the sidelines, although he showed a little life the other night. I just would love to get inside his brain, because this has been such a crazy college football season for a second-year head coach, and he's having to deal with all this, and he's pushing a lot of right buttons right now, BJ.
No doubt about it. Hey, this is your chance. If you have a question for Mike Prater, a comment, whether it's positive or if you're one of the few that wants to take a shot, we're all inclusive here on Bronco Nation News. So get your comments in now. We got about 20 minutes left. We'd love to hear from you. If you got a question for Mike and myself, we got some topics to discuss, but we can always, deviate if you've got a good question as well. But I do want to go back to one other thing previously in a second, Mike, but I want to thank a couple of our great sponsors, TCS, transcomservice.com. If you're looking for a new job, how about driving a truck? And I'm talking the truck you see on the screen or the Amazon truck in your neighborhood. TCS can help you do it all. They get you the permits, all the things you need out there towing that first load in no time. Check them out, transcomservice.com. The Blue and Orange Store, another proud partner that we have. Check them out because if you order online, you get free shipping for any order over $40. Any order over $40, you get free shipping at the Blue and Orange Store. Check them out. They got all the new coaches sideline apparel, all the retro gear, all the NIL stuff. So check them out at the Blue and Orange Store.com. ICCU, check them out. 500,000 Idahoans have made the switch. You can too. Get your banking needs at ICCU.com. Now, last night, Mike, we had our BNN After Dark show, and your co-host on Idaho Sports Talk, John Mallory, he was so desperate to get extra pay from me that he came up with this idea to do the show. And so it actually started when we did the season preview show, and all you guys came on for in the evening, and we previewed the season, and we got such great viewership and such great response that it actually was Johnny's idea. I said, what if we tried to turn that into a weekly show? I worked on getting us a sponsor. Circa Sports down in Las Vegas stepped up because they're always interested in helping out. And Winston got on board. And every week we've brought on a former teammate or friend of Winston's and had some fun. And everyone's kind of a little more laid back, having a drink, telling some stories maybe you wouldn't tell on a show like this. And I had two quick ones to a shameless plug for the show that I wanted to play just because I thought they were funny and get your reaction. But this is, it's a subscriber-only show, so you got to subscribe. But if you did not subscribe, this is one of the exchanges that you missed last night.
You talk about the nightlife in Boise a little bit. You guys were a real big deal in that time. I want to know what it was like being a Seahawk in like 2012, 2013, 2014. You guys were such stars. You were all under 25. It was crazy. You were the most talented team in the league. When you guys would go out, like, what was the compare and contrast of NFL Saturday night with the LOB versus like Boise State Saturday night with like Winston and those guys?
With what? Well, hold on, real quick though. With what? Like with George Iloka and Jamar Taylor and all the other NFL dudes this guy played with?
But no money. You guys were
that's what I was going to say.
You got Earl Thomas. That's a bonus, baby, man.
Hey, John, that's what I was going to say. The quality of liquor is a lot better. Hey, you go from the well drinks or whatever they're pouring to, hey, I want this type of alcohol.
There might be some more options other than China Blue too, right? For
the quality of liquor is a little higher in the NFL. Not surprised, but
yeah, that's good. I can appreciate a good sound bite like that, BJ. That's what pretty darn cool, and I thought it was pretty. That's good stuff.
I know you guys have like your, what do they call it? Like the sound bites you guys clip off that JP can play during the show. I need to start doing that because one of like John Mallory laughing for 20 straight seconds, I probably could find some use for. And the other one quickly, I didn't know this, but you remember the whole situation back with the NCAA violations back when Gene Blameyer was, got ousted, I guess, as part of that, but they had all the bottom Happy Meals and did all the issues that came up. Do you remember all that stuff?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I didn't realize this, but Jerron Johnson was one of the offenders here. I don't know if you knew this story or not, but I did, and it's only about 45 seconds, but I thought I'd play this one also.
I mean, we already got in trouble for this, so I can say it. Jamar, when he came in early, and the couch thing we got in trouble for, which is crazy. Jamar slept on our couch.
Yeah.
So it was just fitting, kind of gravitate towards us, and it was a great thing we had at that house. Faraji Wright stayed in that house, man. So that was a pretty successful house.
Right. Let's go.
Were you guys thinking you were breaking NCAA rules when Jamar was hanging out in there?
No. He didn't pay. I mean, he didn't pay us anything. It's a couch, bro. Dude, it was a couch we bought from the Benchmark Commission. So it's like, he's buying his own groceries. He's buying his own groceries. Like, here, come sleep on our couch.
Yeah.
So I mean, that it is what it is. I'm sure there's programs doing way worse than sleeping on somebody's used couch.
No, I didn't know he was one of the offenders. But what's your reaction to that?
I did not know that he was one of the offenders. The couch stories are spectacular, and if you're looking for sound drops, you got Johnny's laugh out of that first one, and then you got Jerron Johnson saying, "It's just a couch, bro." I mean, it's just a couch, bro. Take that sucker out of context, and what the hell does that even mean? It's just a couch, bro.
We've had 5 episodes so far, but I say last night we had about an hour with Jerron in a much more kind of relaxed setting, and he talked a lot about his relationship with Coach Pete and kind of how similar and different he was to Pete Carroll when he went on to play for the Seahawks. So subscribers, hopefully you saw the show. If you didn't, you can go back. We have a new tab on the website, subscriber only, underneath the live videos tab. You just click BNN After Dark, and all the old episodes are there as well. And if you're a new subscriber thinking about subscribing and you want to watch that whole episode, you can subscribe, and then you'll have access to go back and watch the full episode going back. But I thought Jerron was great last night and told some great stories. Johnny has like the same 4 or 5 well questions that he'll go to about the partying and what was practice like and some of that stuff. But I knew Johnny was going to be ready, man. He's a big Jerron Johnson fan, so he had a whole notebook full of questions last night, and he got some good stuff out of Jerron. He really did.
He might be the most devastated guy, fan, media person, whatever. When Jerron Johnson left the staff, Johnny was absolutely crushed, because every time Jerron would have a press conference, Johnny would always sneak in a Legion of Boom question, a Pete Carroll question, and it was adorable. It was pretty cool, and it was always a really good, smart question. And Jerron always had a really smart life answer. So I love that combination. Nicely done putting that sucker together last night, BJ. I'm gonna have to grill Johnny just to make sure that he didn't have too much fun last night. We need to save some fun for me as well. So I'm a little bit different of a co-host than Jerron Johnson is, but pretty cool deal there.
Yeah, when Winston sent us the text saying that he had gotten Jerron, I was just laughing, thinking of what Johnny's reaction was at that time. But we got a lot of comments rolling in here, and then I do want to transition forward to this offense. But let's see here. Kay Foster asking if the Mountain West still has a Vegas Bowl tie-in. Nope. The new Mountain West deal is right here, the Jimmy Kimmel Bowl. And yes, it is Jimmy Kimmel Bowl again. People not knowing that's real. Yes, that is real. The Jimmy Kimmel Bowl. Tanner Harmon saying football season giving me deja vu to basketball last season. Boise State dominance is inevitable. What do you make of, we made a big deal about, and Leon Rice talked about it, I guess, the whole, valley of death, and something bad happen in the middle of the season. You make a big change to the roster, and then the team kind of galvanizes together and goes on a run. Do you think there is a similar run in the football team here?
It's certainly looking like that. A lot of the details right now are very, very similar. And Bob was actually the first guy to point this out to me last week. And we did a quick little segment on Idaho Sports Talk about, the Devin Retrieve and the Bakersfield loss and hitting rock bottom and coming back with a monster victory after this monster loss. Yes, every single checkbox is there. But I've been thinking about this a lot the last couple of days. And it's going to take time before we get the answer to this story. But it's pretty obvious that Devin Retrieve was cancer in the locker room is really, really strong, but he was something negative in the locker room. How negative and how strong of a word you want to use, that's up for people who decide. Was Hank Bachmeier a cancer in the Boise State locker room? Was he a negative in the Boise State locker room? I think at best.
Not from what I've been told.
I think you're right. But I also think at best or at worst, however you want to look at it, there was some division. And think about it. He was this goofy kid, and, goofy is not for everybody. And if you have 110 football players in a locker room, maybe goofy doesn't work. Coaches spent so much time during fall camp talking about Hank Bachmeier's leadership. And up until things went south fast in a hurry, we thought Hank Bachmeier was the leader of this football team. I don't think that that's the case. But I'm not ready to make it a negative either. Probably somewhere in between is the reality that he was a pretty good leader for a lot of players, and a lot of players were just kind of putting up with his stuff. I can't wait for that story to come out in 6 months or a year. I want to know exactly what kind of presence Hank Bachmeier had in that locker room. Moving forward, can Boise State football do what Boise State basketball did? Oh, that'd be fun, BJ.
We knew there was one fan of Mike Prater out there, and we found him. He says, good to see Prater still doing his thing. He left Idaho almost 15 years ago.
What?
He left Idaho 15. This guy left Idaho 15 years ago, and he's happy that you're still doing your thing.
Oh, he left Idaho 15 years ago.
Yes.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I don't know if that's good or bad, but yeah, I'm still doing my thing.
Little off topic here, but Big Wade wants to know your thoughts on the Jackson's NIL trading card deal.
That came out yesterday. I thought it was a pretty cool deal. Bob Jackson's, kudos to Jackson's for stepping up, because I've been ripping on the community a lot, fans and business leaders, for not being better at NIL in this market. And of course, Jackson steps up, not because of what I said. This plan has been in place for a while, and kudos to Mike Walsh at Boise State, who have continued to push the envelope when it comes to name, image, and likeness. This is marketed as the largest trading card collection, package series in college football, NIL. So I think it's really, really cool. I don't think it'll be as popular as the bobblehead. Everybody loves a bobblehead. And Johnny Ballgame likes to tell me that trading cards are more popular now than ever before. So maybe somebody out there is into it. But what was it, 10,000 packs, 10,000 cards? I think it's a cool deal. A lot of these players have already got some cash. So it's a win-win deal, BJ.
Yeah, and you're right. They're the first team in the country in which every player on the roster is included on the card. So even the freshman walk-ons have trading cards. All the players were paid the exact amount of money. Nobody wants to release the financials for trade secrets or things moving forward. But each player was paid a set fee for the use of their name, image, and likeness. And then whether the cards sell or not, they were paid the fee. And then the 10 players that signed autographs, like on random cards, they got paid an extra amount.
Is Hank Bachmeier in that collection?
Believe it or not, and this is in the story, so thanks for reading my article, Mike. I appreciate it. But believe it or not, the day that they were producing the cards was the day that he transferred. So they were able to not include him in the packs without having to change anything up.
Wow. That's crazy.
So I jokingly said that's why he picked that day to transfer. They said we need to know we're printing these cards. But no, and I was told that if he would have been in the cards, they would not have, players get traded, things happen. They would not have unpackaged 10,000 packs and tried to find the Hank Bachmeier ones and repackage them. He would have just been in there and you would have had a collector's card, but they were able, it was the exact day they were making the cards, they were able to keep him out apparently.
Wow. Good stuff, BJ.
It's Keaton wants to know, it's still early, but does the defense have the potential to end up as one of the best BSU defenses in the past 20 years? They're currently number 5, I think, in total defense in the country. Mike, 2 times they've held teams under 200 yards. Whatever it was last week, 116 yards for San Diego State. New Mexico would have been less than that if not for the 50-yard play they had. How good is this defense historically here, Mike?
They're heading in the right direction of shoring up the one negative they had, and that's the explosive plays, especially on the back end. Let's see what they can do in terms of these next 2 weeks. The answer is yes, absolutely is the potential there for them to do that. But, even with Fresno State, not having Jake Haener, it's that offense with that coaching staff and Kirby Moore and Jeff Tedford and what they can do still scares me a little bit. And then obviously Air Force is going to be able to explode on you. If you can get through these next 2 weeks with an elite defensive performance, yes, historically they'll be in the conversation. And they're certainly in that trend. So they need to keep cleaning up that back half of that defense, stop giving up those explosive plays, be just absolutely a beast against the run. But statistically and historically, they're still very much in that conversation. No doubt about it.
Your golfing and drinking buddy, Jake Forsyth, wants to know your thoughts on the -7.5 on Saturday.
Ooh,
if you were just giving a friend an advice on this game, do you think Boise State can win by at least 8?
I
would say yes.
I would probably take the points I would take Fresno State in the points there, but I don't feel strongly about that, only because I just don't know which Boise State team is going to show up. I need this Boise State football team to show me 60 minutes of complete football, and they've shown it at times, but I need to see the complete effort. So until they show me the complete effort, consider me the skeptical guy.
Hey, if you're looking for a dentist, check out BoiseDentistryCo.com. Full family dentistry with Dr. Meinert and his staff. They do a tremendous job at locations across the Treasure Valley. You can get more information, BoiseDentistryCo.com, and the phone number 906-1255. If you're looking for a new dentist, look no further than BoiseDentistryCo.com. If you need insurance for a business, we got a lot of business owners, folks high up in businesses that watch our shows. Check out United Commercial Insurance. They can write business policy insurance in 44 states around the country. Check them out, UnitedCommercialInsurance.com, 229-8222. They make business insurance easy. In Ridley's Family Markets, shop Ridley's.com. 13 Idaho locations. Find the one near you. I love that Cuno location. They got the at-home shopping, the Skip app, the home delivery, all that great stuff. Check them out, shopridleys.com. And, of course, our friend Matt Bauscher, Bauscher Real Estate, the number one ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley. No home is too big or too small for Matt, and he'll be back here in a couple weeks with the return of the Matt Bauscher Show here on Bronco Nation News. So looking forward to that. We appreciate Matt's support. Check him out, BauscherRealEstate.com. Okay, in the final 5 minutes here, Prater, the comments are rolling in, but there's a couple comments about the 2 QB system moving forward, this offense moving forward. How much of Sam Vidlak do you expect to play here? He says it worked with Rip and Cozart, led to a conference title. Drew's asking how we think about it. He's not a fan. Thinks it could keep their offense from getting into a rhythm. Just stay with Talon at this point. I think they're saying Sam's going to be involved personally now because it looked like it worked so well with Talon and they want to keep teams honest. But I don't think you see Sam for more than a play or two here and there. I'd be surprised if he gets the whole second quarter again like he did last week. I think this is Talon Green's team now. Your thoughts?
I'd like to think that they went in that direction. That's certainly how I would go if I was that case. The last guy that was commenting, I totally agree with him. I'm not sure I like the 2 quarterback system. But if Dirk Cutter thinks it can work, who am I to say Dirk Cutter? No, that's a dumb idea. So I'm very curious to see how Sam Vidlak is going to play. You're right. Is he just going to? Are they just going to? Is a lot of talking candy and telling him love in public, and then when we come to game day, maybe not so much. He's getting a lot more reps. He's getting better in practice. Dirk Cutter talked about that. He does bring a different style to this football team, and there's a creative way to do it. I can't wait to see how Dirk Cutter does it. You're right. I don't think I would bring somebody in for the second quarter, but do you bring him in for one play? That doesn't make a lot of sense either. Do you bring him in for one series because, quote unquote, it's a passing series? That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So I am very curious as to how Dirk Cutter and what he said on Monday and how it's going to look on Saturday. That's going to be one of the bigger storylines that we'll be following on Saturday.
Yeah, and that is the big question. I mean, is this sustainable? Can you keep this going? And I just to Kent Riddle on the post-game show, and he said, hey, is it sustainable for Air Force? I mean, yeah, it is possible to do what they're doing. I think they've got to be a little more balanced with the pass. They're going to have to prove that Talon Green can complete some passes. You can't literally run the ball every play, but yep. I mean, they had 16 straight runs at one point in the second half. I think 3 of their 5 touchdown drives, they literally ran the ball every play on the drive, almost had 300-yard rushers for the first time in school history. What do you make, Mike, of this offense moving forward? It's obviously going to be run-heavy with Talon Green, but how run-heavy, we'll see. They said they only ran 5 plays against in the second half against San Diego State because if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yep.
But can they keep it up? Can a Boise State offense run 7 out of every 8 plays and score this many points and win a Mountain West championship?
Air Force is doing it. We're talking about Air Force. Now, they certainly have this different, unique style of football. Can you imagine that Air Force game in a couple of weeks? The over-under on passing attempts could potentially be like a 20, BJ.
And the game might take an hour and a half.
I know. That's a beautiful thing. Let's see what Boise State shows us against Fresno State, and then we'll apply that logic to Air Force. That'll be kind of fun. But, it's sustainable, and it's absolutely doable. And with Dirk Cutter in charge, I think that there could be some wrinkles. That's why you brought him in to do the things that he's about to do. So, yeah, I mean, eventually, because of the film and because of his skill set, Talon Green is going to be forced to pass the football. And you don't want that to come down to a game that's going to decide the game or maybe determine the Mountain West championship. You want him to be a better passer. And, the way he plays, you always have to protect yourself against injuries. And I like the idea that they brought Sam Vidlak in before because I think the competition going into that last game was so close. They didn't really know what they had. Talon Green's good over here. Sam Vidlak's good over here. At least they know what they have in Sam Vidlak, a small body sample size, but at least they know what they can do. He came in and looked good as a passing. So, if nothing else, if Talon Green gets hurt, Sam Vidlak can come in. The moment's not going to be too big. He looks poised. He looks like he can handle the situation and throw the ball a little bit if he has to and mix it up a little bit and get these defenses on their back heels. So there's some pieces for Cutter to play with, but I have no idea which direction they're going to be going.
And as James points out, it's only 2 hours and 45 minutes. There's another game at 5, and this game's at 7:45. So you're probably not going to see the first quarter on FS1. It's going to either be on FS2 or somewhere online. Just get ready now when you're looking at 7:45 for your TV, and there's still one play into the fourth quarter in whatever the 5 o'clock game is. They kind of got didn't have great options for the TV broadcast windows, and they have to contractually start the game before 8 o'clock. So get ready to miss part of the game. Just FYI for the fans if you're looking at this. But Mike, appreciate your time as always, man. We'll be listening 3 to 6. Sorry for all the questions we couldn't get to here. Somebody wanted to know your thoughts on who replaces Dirk Cutter. We'll get to that next week. But appreciate your time. And 3 to 6, we'll be listening with Johnny and JP and Bob. And then, as always, Saturday on the post-game show, we'll be listening to you guys as well. Break it all down, and then tomorrow at 4 o'clock, we finally get back on our regular schedule. Looking forward for me to join you guys for the Bronco Nation News Report. So appreciating our partnership with KTIK and Bronco Nation News, and we'll talk to you on the radio tomorrow, man.
Love it, BJ. Appreciate your time. Have a great day, bud.
Listen to them 3 to 6 today. And again, we'll be back tomorrow with Jay Tuss at 9 a.m. Got a story online now about the rhythm of the offense. And yes, in a 61-second answer, Tim Keene said the word rhythm 15 times. So you can read all about that and see all 15 mentions at BroncoNationNews.com. So have a great day. We'll talk to you later. We'll be listening 3 to 6, 95.3 The Ticket. My name is BJ Rains. He's Mike Prater. Take care. Bronco Nation News, BroncoNationNews.com.